Today we're going to talk about the September real estate market in Edmonton. How did single families bear and how did they do? Did they do good, bad? Are we in a seller's market, buyer's market? Stay tuned, you're going to want to watch right now. Hi, this is Melody Wilson with the Real Life team at RE/MAX Elite, and today I'm going to talk to you about what's been going on in the single family home market for the month of September. So no surprise, we are still actually in a pretty strong market. Ever since the market took a turn in June and July, we've actually stayed very consistent with that. So I'm going to talk to you about the numbers of what's been happening and take a look at what's selling and what's not selling. So the odds of selling is still pretty high, especially compared to last year. Take a look at our odds of selling. It is still a very good absorption rate. So if you're looking at listing your home, your odds of selling are quite a bit higher than they were last year. And what that means is when you put your house on the market, there's more in your favor. We still are doing everything on our side to get everything prepared with marketing and pricing, because that's still very important, but you've also got demand on your side for properties. As we go into the winter months, there may be less demand, but I wouldn't say a substantial less demand. It is typical that in the winter months that things get a little bit quieter. However, this year has been completely unpredictable, so everyone's guess is our game in terms of what's going to happen. I do predict, though, that come the new year, we're going to see a very, very, very busy real estate market. If we don't, that would be actually quite a surprise to me. We have a very low amount of inventory. So you take a look at the number of active listings right now. You can see that our active listings has decreased month over month and year over year. And then if you look at the sales, we've increased month over month and year over year. So that in itself is a seller's market. When there's less properties and more demand, it means that there's a higher demand for properties and we have a lack of inventory. So thinking about selling next year, definitely give us a call so we can chat and plan for the next year, even if this year still might be the right time or not, or we wait for a couple months. As a buyer, it is still a very good opportunity with the crazy low interest rates that you can get under 1.86% for a 5-year fixed. Definitely makes a huge difference, because even if the prices go up and you have that 1.86% interest rate, it's still a lower monthly payment than you would have gotten on a lower price with a higher interest rate. So speaking about price, the average price in Edmonton for single family homes has increased month over month and year over year. We are talking about resale market here, but in the new home build world, for all you families that are looking to build or upgrade your home, that price has also gone up because of the lumber prices and the demand. They've almost all sold out in their spec inventory, because the resale market is looking at both sides to see where they can find a home and move into right away. Now school has all started, people are kind of acclimatizing back, and so there's a lot of people still looking, trying to get into a home before winter. We've had a unseasonably very nice fall weather, and so that's actually helping our real estate market also. So if you look at the average days on market, we are sitting at 45 days average days, and that's a lot lower than it was last year at this time. And if you look at the overall trend in the price in the last year, you'll see that the 40-day mark started to come in around June, July, when our market started to improve. We have not seen that balloon back up. It likely may increase a little bit over the next few months, but I suspect it will stay quite consistent for the spring, the summer months, and it may even go down even lower. That's just a guess. If you take a look at what has been selling for single family homes in Edmonton, and I'm talking just Edmonton proper, you'll see the price ranges, and the bell curve is actually not uncommon. I've talked about that a lot. The most frequently purchased homes is from $300,000 to $400,000. We have seen an increase in the $200,000 to $300,000 compared to the prior years. There's more demand in that price point, still not as high as $300,000 to $400,000 price point. And then of course the next popular one is $400,000 to $500,000, and then it continues to decline as the higher price you get. Now, to speak about that, even though our market in past, prior to summer, was a declining market and we were wondering if people were spending money, and then we have the pandemic going on right now, are people even spending this high dollar in our city? And the answer is yes. There's a lot of properties that are selling in this price range, over $600,000, even over $1 million. We had one home this year sell for over 3.5. It was sold at 3.6 million in Windermere. That's a highest price point home. It was a 7,400 square foot property, 3 years old, 4-car garage, beautiful home, and someone bought it for 3.6 million. Now, there are other homes that I thought would be interesting in terms of what locations are people buying these $2 million plus homes. So they are in your typical areas where there's high-end properties. So the areas are Parkview, Crestwood, Rutherford, Westbrook Estates, Oliskew, Laurier Heights, and of course Windermere. So those areas are where people are spending over $2 million in Edmonton in 2020. Those are also very common areas for them to spend under $1 million in the higher price range as well. Thought that would be interesting, that you might want to know where that is. Of course, the majority of sales in Edmonton are all over the Edmonton core area when we look at these market statistics. And for single family homes, when families are looking, they are trying to find areas that are safe and are close to schools. Even though not everyone's going to school right now, people are looking at wanting to be close to a school, close to a playground, because we're not going to all be doing online schooling forever. So that's the market stats for the month of September. A very strong market. It's still strong. October, November, December is the last quarter of the year. Is that market going to stay strong, or are we going to start to see a massive decline? I don't suspect we're just going to drop out of nowhere. I know there's a lot of speculation about what's going to happen with all the deferral mortgages stopping. Those payments were deferred until October. What's going to happen? If anything does happen, we probably are not going to see anything until 6 months to a year. Banks are not just going to just drop off and people aren't just going to lose their houses. There's going to be things that people are going to do to have in place. So we're not going to see that, I don't believe. So we'll keep watching on the ground floor right now. We're still seeing a lot of buyers purchase homes, get into those homes, and get into a deal before the end of the year. We're even seeing some possessions that we're working with clients that are coming into be January, and they're looking right now. So if you're trying to decide what makes sense for you, make sure to give me a call. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next month.